Part 39. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 381. Abridged here. The most puzzling thing is that these people made such big moves on the road, but no unit was seen to send people out to stop them. Next, I am afraid that the search will start on the streets of Haikan, and Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao are in danger of being discovered by them at any time. Lu Ligan looked at his watch. He was still worried about one thing, that was, more than an hour had passed, and there was no news at all from Cao Kuoking. Could it be that there was an accident there? Lu Ligan was worried when Cao Kuoking called. Lu Ligan quickly asked, "How is it? Did anyone snatch it out?" "Snatched it out? Was there any conflict?" "No, Ajeng's people were watching them. When they saw so many of us passing by, they knew they couldn't defeat us, so they let us take them away. Besides, the place was in a mess, so they probably couldn't care less about these two girls." "What happened there?" "The younger brother of the injured bastard took people there, and his subordinates smashed up the box without caring about anything. Of course the Taiwanese boss refused. It is said that he was in some kind of gang and threatened to steal from Hong Kong. We've chartered a plane to send the Vietnamese over, and the two sides are negotiating." "Yeah, well, then they don't care. By the way, the person was rescued. Why did it take you so long to call me?" "Mr. Lu took them away. I was worried about what might happen on the way, so I called a taxi and followed them to their destination. They were fine and safe." "Okay, well done," Lu Ligan said. "Don't let your men disperse. Just wait for me to detain you." Cao Kuoking agreed, and Lu Ligan's plan was that if it didn't work, he would have to let Cao Kuoking and the others rush out of the city. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen said, "Wen Wen and Qian Qian are out. They are safe at Lu Yun's place." Xiao Zhao breathed a sigh of relief, and Zhang Chen asked, "Did you let them meet? Can Lu Yun spare you?" "Hey, I can't worry about so much now, just do whatever you want," Lu Ligan said. "I'm sorry, Pol, it's all my fault," Xiao Zhao and Lu Li Pol said. "If you say this, you are hitting me. We are all our own people. Your business is not my business. If something happens to me today, Zhang Chen will do the same," Lu Ligan said. Xiao Zhao looked at Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen nodded. He was right, the Pole was right. Lu Ligan's big brother rang. He picked up and it was Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan asked, "Zhang Chen and you are still together?" "Yes, they are all in my car," Lu Ligan said. With the lesson learned last time, Lu Ligan naturally did not dare to forget Mr. Tan this time. As soon as something happened, while calling Meng Ping and Chen Qiang, he knew that Zhang Chen would definitely not have time to contact Mr. Tan, so he make a phone call and tell Mr. Tan about this. "Now, go to Heping Bridge and Heping Road. I will wait for you here," Mr. Tan said. Lu Ligan quickly said, "Okay, we will come right away." When they arrived at Heping Kaiatu, they saw Mr. Tan's car parked on the side of the road. He was standing outside the car. Lu Ligan and the others parked behind his car. Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, and Xiao Zhao all got out of the car and walked away. Past. "How did such a big thing happen?" Mr. Tan asked when he saw Zhang Chen. "They forced me," Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao stood next to Zhang Chen, called Big Brother and turned her head away. However, Mr. Tan still saw that her whole face was swollen. Mr. Tan frowned and cursed, "What the hell are you doing to a woman? They're all so cruel." Mr. Tan looked at his watch and said to them, "XX Hospital has a boat that will go to Zhanjiang to transport goods later. You can take their boat." Zhang Chen said, "Brother, Needless to say, Xiao Lu and the others are right. You are in Haikan now, and your life is in danger at any time. You are in the open, and others are in the dark. They can just ask a few desperate bastards to mess with you, and you are not the one who will suffer. You guys, it's better to go ahead. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen said, yes, listen to Big Brother. An off-road vehicle with XX license plate stopped beside them. Xiao Zheng got out of the car. Zhang Chen knew Xiao Zheng and knew that he was Mr. Tan's former subordinate at XX. Mr. Tan asked Xiao Zheng, is it implemented? Okay, brother, Xiao Zhao is also going. Now the ship is docked at the port in front of the hospital. Let's go. Mr. Tan said yes. Xiao Zheng looked at the many cars parked here and said, take my car and go. There are many cars and the target is too big. I'm worried that they will send people to block it in Zhanjiang if they find someone getting on the boat. Mr. Tan felt that what Xiao Zheng said made sense, so he told Lu Ligan that it would be just the two of us, plus Xiao Zhang and the others, and we would take Xiao Zheng's car there, and let the other friends wait here. Lu Ligan said yes. He walked over to talk to Meng Ping, Chen Qiang, and the others, and then got into Xiao Zheng's car. Mr. Tan sat in the passenger seat, and Lu Ligan sat in the back seat with Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao. They crossed the Peace Bridge and turned right, taking the road to XX Hospital. In the Hadian River in front of XX Hospital, there was a dock inside the hospital. A workboat from the hospital was moored here, and it usually transported supplies to and from the island. After driving forward for a few minutes, Xiao Zheng cursed, who are these people, even guarding this place? Abridged here. Where are you from? The other party asked. Xiao Zheng scolded, you can't read the license plate yourself. Some people really got closer and looked at the license plate. A few bad guys stood and muttered in low voices. Some people asked, which car is here, XX or XX? It's from the hospital, right? The doctor's car from XX Hospital also has XX license plate. What the hell, it's just his car, let's search it first, someone shouted. There was a bad boy who flashed a flashlight towards Xiao Zheng's face and shouted sternly, get off the bus, get off the humming car and check. Abridged here. With a huff, those bad guys turned around and ran in from a path on the side of the road. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen watched, secretly frightened, thinking that if they hadn't come in Xiao Zheng's car, this would have been really troublesome. Xiao Zheng sat back in the car and asked Mr. Tan, who is the other party? Honggang Lu. Damn it, these guys are getting more and more arrogant, and they will be punished sooner or later. I restarted the car and continued driving. After walking for a few minutes, I arrived at the hospital dock. The workship was brightly lit, and several people were carrying goods on the ship. It seemed that they were going to Zhanjiang. A group of people got off the bus, and Mr. Tan asked Xiao Zheng, do you have any money with you? Xiao Zheng said there are about 7,000 or 8,000 left. Give it to me first. Xiao Zheng opened his briefcase, took out a wad of money from it, and handed it to Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan took out his wallet, opened it, took out all the money inside, and put it together with Xiao Zheng's. He took out 30,000 yuan from his handbag, handed it to Zhang Chen, and said to him, I'm in a hurry. I don't have much cash with me. You should take these first. Zhang Chen quickly said, no, brother, I can't have this. You still dare to call me big brother if you don't want me, Mr. Tan scolded, stop it, if you have any difficulties when you go back to your hometown, just remember to call me. Don't hold on. Zhang Chen had no choice but to say thank you, brother. He accepted the money and gave it to Xiao Zhao, who quickly said, thank you, brother. Xiao Zheng took them on the boat, and Xiao Zhao greeted them. He saluted Mr. Tan first, and then shook hands with Xiao Zheng. Xiao Zheng introduced Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao to him and said to him, you deliver it to me safely, or I'll slap you. No problem. Otherwise, if you let me go, the old regiment leader won't let me go either, Xiao Zhao said. It's good to know, Mr. Tan said. All three laughed. Lu Ligan asked, Will your ship come back? Xiao Zhao said that when he came back, he would arrive in Zhanjiang at almost dawn. He would stay there for a morning and come back at noon. Then can I take your boat back and forth? Lu Ligan asked. Okay, no problem, Xiao Zhao agreed readily. Lu Ligan and Mr. Tan said, then I will send them to Zhanjiang. Mr. Tan said yes, I will go back and talk to those friends later. Mr. Tan and Xiao Zhang got off the boat and sat in the car, but did not leave. They waited on the dock for more than 20 minutes until the boat left the dock and headed towards the Kiangsu Strait connecting the Hadian River. Mr. Tan then he sighed and said to Xiao Zhang, let's go. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 382. When the ship arrived in Zhanjiang, it was already past 7 o'clock in the morning. Xiao Zhao took a piece of paper, handed it to Lu Ligan, and said to him, I'll be here later. If you encounter anything on the shore, just call this number and ask them to call me. Lu Ligan said yes, thank you. You can come back before 12 o'clock. I will have breakfast with them, then put them in the car and go back to the boat, Lu Ligan said, and Xiao Zhao nodded. The weather in Zhanjiang is much colder than that in Haikan. Lu Ligan, Zhang Chen, and Xiao Zhao left in a hurry last night. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao did not expect that they would not be able to go back as soon as they came out. Not only did they have to cross the sea, but they also had to go when they went to Yongcheng. The three of them didn't bring any clothes. They just wore a single coat and stood there, shivering when the sea breeze blew. Xiao Zhao said, wait a minute. He returned to the cabin and came out after a while, holding 3 military coats in his hands. He handed them to them and asked them to put them on. The three of them hurriedly put the military coats on themselves. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, just wear this coat and go. The further north you go, the colder the weather will be. This one can withstand it for a while. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao, please quickly say thank you, thank you. They said goodbye to Xiao Zhao, got off the boat, and walked out of the dock. Outside the pier, there was a shabby but lively street. There were snack bars on both sides of the street. They walked into a store and Lu Ligan chose a table in the corner and sat down. Lu Ligan took out a newspaper bag from his bag and stuffed it into Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen opened it and was shocked. It was full of money. Lu Ligan shouted softly, hurry up and wrap it up, don't let it go, people see it. Zhang Chen quickly put his wallet away, and Lu Ligan said, 80,000 yuan in it belongs to me, and 40,000 yuan belongs to Meng Ping. We can only find so much at night, so take it with you. Where did you get so much money? Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan smiled and said, don't worry, it's not stealing or robbing. I asked the company to borrow it. Sun Ho agreed to borrow 200,000 yuan. Unfortunately, there is only 80,000 yuan in the company's safe. Are you crazy? Why did you borrow so much money? You're humming crazy. Do you think you can go back to Jiaohang and go to work peacefully after working outside for so long? Even if you can stay in the workplace, your heart can't stay. Look at Hui Yang. Chen, can you do something yourself? You borrowed so much money, how do you pay it back? Haha, I am also a high-income earner now, okay. I still have tens of thousands of yuan in my bank book. I can withdraw it when I go back. If I owe 200,000 yuan, it may take a while to pay it back. If I owe tens of thousands yuan, I can pay it back in a few months. Zhang Chen kept the money and handed it to Xiao Zhao. He was a little moved, but he knew that it would be useless to talk more, so he stopped talking. Xiao Zhao choked up and said, thank you for the pole. Lu Ligan looked at her and said with a smile, no, you need to buy a scarf to cover your face when you go out later. Otherwise, if you encounter brave people and police officers, they will think it was Zhang Chen who beat him and arrest him. He has 100 mouths, and he can't explain clearly. You, Xiao Zhao cursed, and the three of them left. 3 bowls of hot noodle soup were served, and the three of them added a lot of hot sauce. After one gulp, Xiao Zhao let out an ouch. Zhang Chen looked at her and realized that it must have been broken inside the mouth. It was spicy and hot. The soup powder went in and it was very exciting. Don't eat this. Change it to a bowl that's not spicy, Zhang Chen said quickly. No, 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 Xiao Zhao said, we Sichuan people still eat spicy food even if we behead our heads. The three of them laughed again. After a bowl of noodle soup, everyone felt comfortable. In addition, the nervousness also dissipated. All three of them felt a little sleepy. Lu Ligan quickly stood up. He said, no, we have to find a car first. You guys go to sleep in the car and I'll go back to the boat to sleep. Otherwise, I'll fall asleep on the roadside later and won't wake up even after the boat has left. The three of them left the snack bar and walked forward along the street. As they walked, Xiao Zhao kept pinching the bulging part of the army coat with his hands. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen both laughed when they saw it, knowing that she was because the bag is too heavy. Look, this is what it looks like when a person is about to be crushed to death by money, Lu Ligan said with a smile. Zhang Chen quickly took the bag from Xiao Zhao. He felt uneasy carrying it on his back and on both sides, so he simply hung it around his neck and put on a military coat outside, making it look like a big belly. It's so ugly, Xiao Zhao cursed. Don't be afraid of being ugly, this is our wealth and life, and you see, you can still put it down when you are tired of walking. Zhang Chen put his hands on the protruding part of his chest and gestured towards them. Lu Ligan and Xiao Zhao both laughed. Talent, my feet are tired from walking, but your hands are tired from walking, Lu Ligan cursed, and the three of them laughed again. They passed a clothing store. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao each bought a woolen sweater and long johns. They both knew how bitterly cold the winter in Zhejiang was. Xiao Zhao actually bought a scarf and covered most of his face, leaving only a pair of eyes exposed. Lu Ligan asked the store owner, how to get to the national highway from here. The store owner asked, are you going to take a ride? Right. Where to go? Guangzhou. Then don't take the bus on the national highway. There are only passing buses on the national highway. There are no seats on the national highway. You go to the station to take the bus. Aren't you nervous about tickets now at the station? Zhang Chen asked. Don't be nervous. There are many buses to Guangzhou, one every half an hour. There are also overtime buses. Opposite the station, there is also a private owner's car. That bus is more advanced and has air conditioning. A ticket is 2 times more expensive than the one at the station. 10 yuan, that one doesn't have time, just leave when it's full. Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen both laughed. The boss looked at them and felt confused. She didn't know what was so funny. What she didn't know was that Zhang Chen and the others took a bus from Guangzhou to Zhanjiang last year when it was full and left. In the car, I waited all night in the car. Fortunately, it's daytime now and people are sleepy, so it's not bad to just get in the car and sit down to sleep. They thanked the boss, followed her instructions, and found the bus station quickly. There was a square in front of the bus station. There were 4 or 5 buses parked on one side of the square. Fortunately, these buses could be seen at a glance. When they came out, it was really an air-conditioned bus. It was much better than the one they were deceived into last year. As soon as they approached, many people gathered around. Everyone said that their car was leaving soon. One of them pulled Lula pole and said, it's just the 3 of you. You get in the car and drive right away. Lu Ligan said, the 2 of us. The man was surprised. He didn't know there were 3, but why 2? But she immediately changed her tune, then I'll leave you 2 alone. You get in the car and leave immediately. Lu Ligan and the others did not go with her. Lu Ligan said that the last 2 seats must be the worst seats. Sitting for such a long distance was exhausting. They walked to a bus with only a few people on board. The last row of seats was still empty. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao walked up. Xiao Zhao took off his coat, put it on the seat by the window, and took a seat. She took her own seat next to the coat. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, "I'll go down and smoke." Xiao Zhao said, "Yes, give me the bag, it's so ugly." Zhang Chen smiled and took off the bag from his neck and gave it to her. Xiao Zhao buried it under his coat. Zhang Chen got out of the car and stood smoking with Lu Lipol. Lu Ligan asked, "Are you a little unwilling?" "No, it's fine just like this." Zhang Chen shook his head. He looked towards the car and saw Xiao Zhao sitting there, waving to them. Zhang Chen said, "Actually, I finally understand that the most important thing is not where you are, but who you are with. Really, when I heard Xiao Zhao was beaten yesterday, I had no other thoughts in my mind. I, the King of Heaven, will do it with him too." "I understand," Lu Ligan said, and then laughed. "Why are you laughing? Do you know that after you left that day, I went upstairs? Do you want to know what Jin Lily said to me?" "I don't want to." Zhang Chen shook his head. But Lu Ligan still said, "She told me to persuade you to go back to Yongcheng. I didn't expect that you would really go back to Yongcheng today, but you are not alone, and that person is not her. This is good. It can be seen that you and Xiao Zhao get along very well, and everyone is very happy for you. What about you? I advise you to find someone. If this matter is over, if possible, you can have a good relationship with Lu Yun. Lu Yun is good. I know she is good, but when I was with her, I didn't feel wholeheartedly. I can't lie to myself. If I don't have it, I don't have it. I don't know why, and I don't have the feeling you just said." After a moment of silence, Lu Ligan said in a low voice, "I have it with Tan Shahan, but unfortunately, she probably doesn't have it with me." Both of them stood there in silence and started to smoke their second cigarette. There were many people on the bus, and the bus was quickly filled up. The conductor called to Zhang Chen, boss, get on the bus quickly, we are leaving." "Okay, take care along the way." Lu Ligan threw away the cigarette, hugged Zhang Chen, waved to Xiao Zhao, turned around and left. Zhang Chen got in the car. Xiao Zhao picked up his coat and bag, moved to that seat, put the bag and coat on his lap, and gave Zhang Chen the seat where she had just been sitting. The two people looked outside and saw Lu Ligan alone, walking towards the square, the sun falling on his military coat. It was obvious that he was the one running away, but Zhang Chen suddenly felt that Lu Ligan's back was lonely, and his eyes were moist. "What's wrong with you?" Xiao Zhao asked softly. In fact, her eyes were already red. "The last chapter has been blocked again. Frown and change it, everyone. Wait, the main content is that they finally found the ship and left Haikan." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 383. When Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao arrived in Guangzhou, it was already evening. Zhang Chen asked the bus driver. He told Zhang Chen that the destination was Guangzhou Railway Station. Guangzhou Railway Station was a scary place at the time. On the boat, Lu Ligan repeatedly warned them not to live near the train station. Instead of buying tickets and taking the train, the farther away from the train station the better. Xiao Zhao also told Zhang Chen that especially at night, there are many thieves, robbers, and scalpers selling counterfeit tickets and money in front of the train station. It's okay at night, so don't go to Guangzhou Railway Station or stay nearby. They had already witnessed the chaos at Guangzhou Railway Station when they came last year, but it was the off-season for bus travel. There were 3 of them and they didn't have much money. People who wanted to steal, deceive, or rob could not escape from them. Can't get any oil or water. Now it was just him and Xiao Zhao, and they had so much money with them. Of course, Zhang Chen was very careful. He saw that the street where the bus passed was very busy, it should be the city center, so he asked the driver to stop, and he and Xiao Zhao got off. Car. Zhang Chen saw a hotel diagonally opposite, which was similar in size to Wanghai Tower, so he took Xiao Zhao there, walked to the front desk and asking for a room of 481. Xiao Zhao pulled Zhang Chen's clothes beside him. But Zhang Chen still said he wanted a room. "Excuse me, are you two?" the waiter asked. Zhang Chen was hesitating about what to say. He didn't know if Guangzhou had opened up like Haikan and whether they would be asked to show their marriage certificate. Unexpectedly, the waiter said again, "If there are two of us, can we arrange a double bedroom?" Zhang Chen quickly said yes. He saw a plexiglass sign on the counter that said, "Please leave valuables to the front desk for safekeeping." He asked, "Can money be kept here?" The waiter said of course. Zhang Chen took out the money from the bag and handed it to them. After they counted it with a banknote detector, they put it in the safe. Then they wrote a receipt to Zhang Chen. With the receipt, Zhang Chen suddenly felt sleepy. Feeling relaxed. After entering the elevator, Xiao Zhao was still complaining that it was too expensive and just slept, causing us to spend so much money. Zhang Chen told her that Guangzhou is very chaotic, so don't you worry about taking so much money with you or staying in a small hotel. Xiao Zhao pursed his lips and then gave up. The two of them entered the room, took a hot bath, and fell on the bed. Xiao Zhao let out a long sigh and said, "It's so comfortable, honey. I feel like the money is worth it now." Zhang Chen laughed and told her that we were going to eat. "I won't go, I won't go. With such an expensive room, I won't go anywhere. I will just stay in the room. Otherwise, it would be a big loss. We will order noodles and eat them in the room." As she spoke, she picked up the order menu in the guest room, opened it, and saw that a bowl of noodles was 60 yuan. She quickly threw the order menu aside and said she wanted to go out to eat. Zhang Chen smiled wildly on the surface, but actually his nose was sore. He thought, Xiao Zhao is not a person who has never seen the world. When he followed Hai Bassian, he had never eaten any delicacies from the mountains and seas, or stayed in any hotel. How could he be like this? A bowl of 60 noodles scared her, and she felt aggrieved following her. The two of them went downstairs and ate rice rolls at a nearby shop. When Zhang Chen asked where to go, Xiao Zhao kept shaking his head and said no, no, so we still went upstairs. Zhang Chen said let's go to the drugstore to buy medicine. Xiao Zhao said yes and left obediently. What she was thinking about was that she was going back to Yongcheng soon and would celebrate the new year with Zhang Chen's family. Will she look like this on her face? They were scared, and she also wanted these injuries to heal quickly. They returned to the hotel, thought about it, and decided to go to the train station to buy tickets. The business center downstairs purchased train and plane tickets. Zhang Chen asked, and the other party said that before the first day of the new year, there were no train tickets anywhere, and plane tickets. When they arrived in Hangzhou, there was also a first-class cabin. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao jumped in as soon as they heard about it. They didn't even consider air tickets, let alone first-class cabins. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao didn't give up and decided to try their luck at the station. Anyway, the money was now stored and they only had a few hundred yuan to buy tickets and food, so there was nothing to be afraid of. They took the bus and arrived at Guangzhou railway station. As soon as they got off the bus, they were shocked by the scene in front of them. The square in front of the train station was filled with people. Big bags made of woven fabric with red and white vertical stripes were sitting densely on the ground, and many simply fell asleep on their luggage. Tiredness and anxiety were written on everyone's face. After they walked a few steps, A scalper came up and asked if they wanted tickets and where to go. Zhang Chen quickly said that we already have tickets, and if we don't bother with them, he wouldn't dare to buy tickets from them. It's better to buy fake tickets. Xiao Zhao told them that many of them are just to trick you. Small alley, direct robbery. They saw the ticket office from a distance, but they couldn't find a way for them to pass by. They had no choice but to pick up their coats and move there step by step from the crowd sitting on the ground. Xiao Zhao let Zhang Chen followed her. As she walked, she said sorry in Sichuan dialect and borrowed it. As expected, there were quite a few Sichuan people among the people sitting there. When they heard this, they tried hard to squeeze out a small space for them to stay and let them pass. It took them more than half an hour to reach the short distance of 50 to 60 meters. The entrance to the ticket office was even more crowded. There were public security and railway staff at the gate to maintain order. Those who had not bought tickets were not allowed to pass. Entering, there are also staff inside, constantly knocking out tourists trying to stay inside. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao finally squeezed into the ticket hall. There were fewer people inside than outside. Every ticket window was lit, but there were almost no people in line. One or two people came and asked a few questions. As they left, they saw a note posted on the glass above each ticket window that read: "Before February 4th, the first day of the Lunar New Year, all tickets from this station to all stations across the country have been sold out." Zhang Chen didn't give up, so he walked to a window and asked, "Do you still have the ticket to Hangzhou tomorrow?" The conductor inside rolled his eyes at him and said nothing. Instead, he picked up a ruler on the table and knocked on the glass above the small round window, meaning to let him read the notice. Zhang Chen retreated and stood there with Xiao Zhao, looking at each other helplessly. It seemed that it was impossible to rush home for the Spring Festival, but no matter what, he couldn't stay in Guangzhou, Haikan. There was no way back, so they could only go all the way north and continue towards Hangzhou. Zhang Chen changed the window and asked the conductor inside, "Excuse me, when is the earliest train ticket to Hangzhou available?" 4:20 in the morning on February 4th. It was the first day of the new year. Fortunately, the bus on the first day of the new year was very empty, and there were even sleeper berth tickets. Zhang Chen bought two lower berth tickets facing each other. After buying the ticket, Zhang Chen was a little frustrated. Xiao Zhao comforted him and said, "It doesn't matter, it's fine if we just spend the new year on the train. But this doesn't count today. We still have to stay in Guangzhou for 3 nights," Zhang Chen said. When Zhang Chen said that, Xiao Zhao's first thought was that there were still 3 nights left. If they continued to stay in that hotel, it would cost 4 times 480, which equals 1,920 yuan. Xiao Zhao was shocked. "So much money? No, no, honey, we must find a cheap place to live tomorrow." Zhang Chen shook his head and said, "It's too inconvenient to carry so much money. We can't take advantage of it and suffer big losses." At that time, banks did not have universal deposits and withdrawals. They could not deposit money in the bank at dawn and withdraw it in Hangzhou. They could only run away with it. After Lu Ligan left, Xiao Zhao regretted that he had forgotten it. Give their bank book in Haikan to Lu Ligan, and they can only send it to him after returning to Yongcheng. "By the way, dear, we can deposit the money in the bank tomorrow and take it out on the day we leave," Xiao Zhao shouted. Zhang Chen secretly thought, "Yes, this is a good idea," but he immediately thought of it and said sadly, "But, the bank will have a holiday on the 29th of the new year, so we will deposit it all night tomorrow, but we still have to withdraw it immediately come out." Xiao Zhao sighed. Why didn't he think of this? The two of them were just as they were when they came in. It took them more than half an hour to squeeze out of the crowd. When they got outside, Xiao Zhao said he wanted to go to the toilet. Zhang Chen vaguely remembered that the public toilet was on the edge of the square. He took Xiao Zhao went over there, and when he arrived at the door of the toilet, he was dumbfounded. They saw that there was a long queue of hundreds of people at the door of the women's toilet. It was their turn. How could it be possible in less than a few hours? Humph, you must force me to go back to that high-end toilet. Come on, let's go back, Xiao Zhao shouted. The two of them walked to the bus stop, which was also crowded with people. Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao with concern, "Are you in a hurry? If so, we'll take a taxi back." "Yes," Xiao Zhao excitedly slapped Zhang Chen on the shoulder and shouted loudly. Not only did Zhang Chen get stunned, but even the people around him were startled and looked at them. Xiao Zhao lowered her head and stuck out her tongue. She pulled Zhang Chen to a place where no one was around and said to him, "I thought about it. What did you think of? We can take the money to the post office and send it to you tomorrow, and then pick it up when we get home, okay?" Zhang Chen's eyes lit up. "Yes, this is great. Even so, the remittance order will probably take more than half a month on the road, but he is not in a hurry to use the money, so what are he afraid of? As for the remittance fee for mailing, what is it compared to the money they will save?" Zhang Chen couldn't help but praise, "Why are you so smart? It was you who asked me if I was in a hurry. It made me think of sending money to my family every month." Zhang Chen laughed loudly, "Then your associations are too rich. By the way, are you in a hurry now? Urgent? Then let's take a taxi back." "Don't want. What are you afraid of? We have saved more than 1,000 yuan. Xiao Zhao thought for a moment and said, "Okay, let's take a taxi." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 384. The next day, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao withdrew money from the front desk and checked out of the room. Following the guidance of the front desk lady, they found a nearby post and telecommunications office. Zhang Chen kept 5,000 yuan with him and took the other money with him. "I sent them all home and to myself." Xiao Zhao took out 2 more passbooks, one for Zhang Chen and one for himself, saying that it was sent to Lu Ligan. Xiao Zhao's passbook contained more than 8,000 yuan, and Zhang Chen's account contained more than 26,000 yuan. Xiao Zhao said, asking Lu Li to take out all the polls and pay off the debt owed to the company. After sending the passbook by registered mail, the two of them paid a 30 yuan phone deposit at the counter. After waiting for a while, the counter called Zhang Chen's name and asked them to go to number 2. The two of them walked to a row of domestic long-distance cubicles in the post office lobby. They walked into number 2 and picked up the hanging microphone. Lu Ligan's voice came from the phone. "I just arrived in Haikan and am now going to Lu Yun's place. On the way, I went to see Wen Wen and Qian. You're willing to die? If you stretch your head or shrink it, it's just a knife. Whatever. By the way, where are you now?" Zhang Chen said that there are no train tickets in Guangzhou. "If you're taking a plane, of course you won't have a train ticket. The plane only has first class. First class is first class. It's good to be able to get home for the new year." Zhang Chen remained silent for a while and said, "We bought train tickets for the early morning of New Year's Day." "Holy shit." Lu Ligan cursed and wanted to say something, but didn't. He knew that after leaving Haikan, Zhang Chen would not be the same Zhang Chen who was in Haikan. In Haikan, he could spend all the money he had in his pocket. There was really no money left. Be patient, you would have it in a few days anyway. But after returning to Yongcheng, I don't even know if the troop can return, let alone what to do and where to get wages. As for that ghost place in Yongcheng, if Zhang Chen couldn't return to the troop, the most likely option would be to climb the scaffolding and paint advertisements. Either start your own business, but in Yongcheng, Lu Ligan can't think of what he can do by starting a business. Those who talk about starting a business, except for the kings he has written about, just set up stalls in farmers' markets and sell wonton dumplings and spinach on the streets at night. Egg pancakes, Zhang Chen is not suitable for anything. Even with salary, According to Yongchen's salary level, a first-class ticket can be worth almost half a year's salary. For two people, a year's salary is gone. Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Hey, I'm not a child, and I'm still waiting to get the New Year's money. It doesn't matter if I can't make it through the New Year, as long as I can get home." Zhang Chen said yes. He told Lu Ligan that 2 passbooks were sent to you. Please write down the password. Lu Ligan took out a pen and paper from his bag and wrote down the password. Zhang Chen told him, "Take it out and write down the password. Give your company back." Lu Ligan said, "No, I think it's better to send Xiao's money to her home." The next time, Zhang Chen understood what Lu Lizan meant. Zhang Chen told Xiao Zhao that Zhuangzi wanted your home address and he said to take out your money and send it back to your home. "No, no, no," Xiao Zhao said. "I think the Pole is right. In this way, even if you don't send money to your family in the next few months, you don't have to worry about it," Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said. Xiao Zhao thought for a moment and said, "Then she would send 3,000 and let the Pole return the rest." "Pole, do you hear that? Heard it?" Lu Ligan memorized the address of Xiao Zhao's home, and Zhang Chen asked, "How's it going over there in Haikan?" "It's okay. You are all gone." "What will happen?" In fact, what he didn't tell Zhang Chen was that when he returned to Yilin's house, Zhang Chen's room had been smashed by those people. On the 15th day of the first lunar month, Lu Ligan received 2 bank books. He went to the bank and took out all the money. Xiao Zhao's money was sent back to Xiao Zhao's home. Zhang Chen's money was sent to Zhang Chen's home in Yongcheng. This is something. After making the call, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao found a hotel near the post office and asked for a room that cost 56 yuan a night. On the morning of New Year's Eve, the two of them got up, and Xiao Zhao started to waste time. She said that we would check out before 12 o'clock today, so that we could save 56 yuan. After checking out, where should we go? Zhang Chen asked. The train station. We're almost there when we get to the train station. It's still more than 10 hours until we get on the train. People can wait for days. It doesn't matter if we wait for more than 10 hours. They said they were leaving at noon, but it turned out that because they had to wait for a batch of medicines to be shipped from Guangzhou, they waited until midnight for the truck to arrive. The road to the truck was blocked. They loaded the goods, and when the ship started, it was already with them yesterday. It was almost the same time to set off from Haikan, and it was already past 7 o'clock when we arrived at Haikan. When Lu Ligan returned to Yilin's house, Yilin's mother screamed when she saw him. Yilin had told her about Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao. She knew that they had encountered bad guys and got into trouble. She asked Lu Ligan how Zhang Chen and the others were doing now, and Lu Ligan said they were safe. When she asked how Wen Wen and Qian were doing, Lu Ligan told her they were fine, and she was relieved. Lu Ligan went upstairs and saw that everything in Zhang Chen's room had been smashed. Although the room had been cleaned by Yilin's mother, he could still see the tragic situation at that time. The TV, refrigerator, and stereo were all smashed, the video recorder was taken away by the guys, and the doors to the room and furniture were also smashed. Lu Ligan and Yilin's mother carried the TV and refrigerator downstairs and put them on a tricycle. Lu Ligan asked Yilin's mother to sell them as scrap, and Xiao Cao sent someone to repair the furniture and doors so that they could still be used. Lu Ligan wanted to call Lu Yun and ask about Wen Wen and Qian, but he was afraid that there was already a gang there. After thinking about it, he called Wu Zai and asked him to send him there. Lu Ligan arrived at Lu Yun's office. When Lu Yun saw him, she asked anxiously, "How are Zhang Chen and the others? Why can't I get through when I call you? I went to Zhanjiang and there was no electricity. Zhang Chen and the others are fine. I have sent them on the bus to Guangzhou." Lu Yun breathed a sigh of relief. "Well, where are the two of them?" "Wen Wen and Qian." "Right. I sent them home." The two little girls were frightened and cried all night. Their mother also told them not to go back to work. They wanted to go home for the new year. I thought, those people's attention is still looking for Zhang Chen and the others, and if they can't find it in a few days, they will start looking for other people, so I bought them air tickets and sent them away. Didn't you meet them at the airport? I met them, but I brought a dozen security guards over and asked the two girls to be sandwiched between them. If it didn't work, I brought them out again, but they didn't seem to notice. They had a photo of Zhang Chen in their hands and were looking for one. Morning. They have photos of Zhang Chen. Right. Lu Ligan was surprised. In Haikan, the only places with Zhang Chen's photos were Mr. Tan's place and Wanghai Tower. Mr. Tan was definitely not possible, otherwise, he wouldn't have to send Zhang Chen out. The only possibility is Hai Basian's place in Wanghai Tower. This is not surprising. Didn't Hai Basian and the Hong brothers know each other for a long time? Including the night before yesterday, they were able to find the place where Zhang Chen lived so quickly. Xiao Su must have told them. Xiao Su had followed Zhang Chen before Zhang Chen went to Wanghai Tower and knew that he had left Wenmingdong. Back to the original place. Just when Lu Ligan was thinking about it, the phone in his hand rang loudly. It was Ajeng. Ajeng asked him why your phone was not connected. Lu Ligan said that the battery was out of power. He had been in a mess these past 2 days and forgot to charge it. How is brother Zhang? Yesterday's flight returned to Hangzhou, and Xiao Wu went to pick him up at the airport. Lu Ligan said this because he had a vague feeling in his heart that Zheng's role here was not simple. He deliberately mentioned Xiao Wu to tell him not to go to Yongcheng to find Zhang Chen. Yongcheng was Xiao Wu's world. Okay, just leave. I'm still worried about brother Zhang. Thank you, it's okay. After hanging up Lu Ligan's call, Ajeng and Mr. Fu said that they had returned to Yongcheng, and Xiao Wu had gone to Hangzhou to pick them up. Mr. Fu remained calm and nodded, thinking to himself that he didn't expect that bastard Hong Ganglu would unintentionally help him a lot this time. These two people knew the most about what he had done. If they weren't here, he would no worries. Lu Ligan looked at Lu Yun and asked, "Is there anything else?" "If nothing else, I will go back to the company first." Lu Yun looked at him and asked strangely, "Is there anything else?" "I've finished all the things you asked me to do, what else do you want to do?" Lu Ligan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the two diehards were only scared and did not let Lu Yun know at all that they were having an affair with him. Lu Ligan said, "Okay, then I'll treat you to dinner." "Who cares about your meal?" Lu Ligan smiled playfully, "Then I'll come over in the evening." Lu Yun tilted her head, looked at the open office door behind Lu Li, and cursed in a low voice, "Get out." Lu Ligan stood up with a smile, walked to the door, turned around, and said to Lu Yun, "By the way, Meng Ping asked me to inform you that everyone will come to his office for a hot pot party on New Year's Eve." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 385. On the evening of New Year's Eve, Lu Ligan went to pick up Lu Yun. When driving to the city, everyone in the car felt strange. Why did the whole Haikan seem to have become an empty city, and they were the only car on the wide street? There wasn't even a single pedestrian on the sidewalks on either side. "Did we come to the wrong city?" Lu Ligan shouted. "Yeah, where have all those people gone?" Wei Venfang also shouted. "It's not surprising, last year's New Year's Eve was also like this," Lu Yun said. "The locals are all in the old city and rarely come here. At this time, the shops on the street are closed, and no one comes. Most of the people here are from the mainland, and now most of them have returned to the mainland. Those who have not returned are all having New Year's Eve dinner at home. Who will come out?" Lu Yun's words brought back Lu Ligan's memories. He vaguely felt that last year's New Year's Eve was like this. That day, Zhang Chen and Jin Lily were in the financial garden, waiting for him to go back for New Year's Eve dinner. He rode when he returned from the airport disappointed on his motorcycle. He burst into tears. He couldn't care less whether there was anyone on the road or not. He went downstairs in Block G of Financial Garden, sat on the empty steps and smoked 2 cigarettes. He felt that his face should not be so ugly, and then went upstairs. A year passed in a flash, and the 3 people who had New Year's Eve dinner together last year were completely separated and were in 3 different places. Lu Ligan knew that Zhang Chen was still in Guangzhou, but he didn't know where he and Xiao Zhao were now or what they were doing, and he didn't know where Jin Lily would be now. On New Year's Eve, Lu Yun had New Year's Eve dinner with the employees at the club. When everyone was taking a break, it was the busiest time for their club. After the New Year's Eve dinner, the employees continued to work. When they came out, there were already people playing ball. People came one after another. On days like this, Lu Yun gave the driver a day off, so she asked Lu Ligan to pick her up. When they arrived at Sanli Building, the 4 people parked their cars and went upstairs. The 5 people from Meng Ping's company, plus Yuan, and Li Yong were waiting for them. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan returned to Guangdong for the New Year, and Li Yong's uncle returned to Guizhou. I stayed at the company on duty, so I came over. In the office, several desks were put together, with 4 cassette stoves placed on them, 2 clear soups with famous ingredients for seafood, and 2 red pots. Meng Ping told them that this pot yes, but Jian Fang went to Daying Road, your favorite hot pot restaurant, to buy it. Lu Yun quickly said to Jian Fang, thank you, you really understand us Sichuan people. I also understand us Zhejiang people, Lu Ligan said. I'm from Zhejiang, and I just like seafood hot pot, Wu Zayawai said from the side. Lu Ligan glared at him and cursed, how the hell are you trying to tear down your boss like this? The people of Guizhou, have not spoken, but you dare to say that you eat spicy food, Li Yong said, patting his chest. Everyone laughed. Another melon is here, Lu Yun shouted. Everyone saw Cao Qiuqing coming in from the door. He was also at the construction site and came over after having a New Year's Eve dinner with the workers who stayed behind. When everyone started eating, Li Yong sighed and said, oh, it's a pity that Zhang Chen is not here. The last time we were together with so many people, we went to look for Zhang Chen, and found him in such a dreamy place. I didn't expect that he was really gone today, Meng Ping said. Everyone was silent. Su Jiaqing lowered her head and almost cried. That day, she met Huang Jianren. Later, the relationship between the 2 people quickly heated up and then ended abruptly. Stop talking about it, they are doing well now. Come, we are here to wish him and Xiao Zhao happiness. After all, Xiao Zhao is also from Sichuan. Lu Yun raised her glass. Everyone laughed and stood up. They ate until about 9 o'clock when Lu Ligan's eldest brother rang. Lu Ligan picked up the phone and it was the second-rate guy. The second-rate guy asked him where he was, and Lu Ligan told him and asked him to come over. Okay, I'm forced to do it. I can't find anyone to hum with today. I've made money. I'm back to the mainland. I'll be right over. It took more than half an hour for the second guy to arrive. As soon as he came in, Lu Ligan scolded him, are you from Sanya? Are you coming right away? Haha, you idiots, let me tell you, we will all be rich next year. I bought a car full of fireworks and firecrackers. Can we go to the holiday beach to set off fireworks? The second-rate guy shouted. When everyone heard this, they all jumped up and thought his idea was great. Everyone hurried downstairs and saw a tool cart parked at the gate downstairs. Upstairs, they thought he was exaggerating. When they got downstairs, they discovered that this guy had really bought a truckload of fireworks and firecrackers, big and small. They are small and come in all varieties, filling the back compartment of the tool cart. Holy shit, you really bought a car, Li Yong shouted. Yes, It's 8,000 yuan. I just came from Boei South and saw an old man selling these at this late hour, so I bought them all. Isn't it a pleasure to feed them, cried the second-rate guy. It's so good, let's go quickly, Li Yong shouted. When Lu Ligan saw it, he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He knew that the second-rate guy must have wanted to play with the money, but he didn't expect that it turned into a car full of fireworks and firecrackers. They arrived at the holiday beach and took all the firecrackers and fireworks out of the car. Everyone, regardless of gender, had a cigarette in their mouths to start the fire. Several girls took yuan and started playing. Sand cannons and sparklers, they held sparklers on the beach and ran around giggling. A few men lined up more than a dozen boxes of cannons on the beach. Meng Ping said that this must wait until 12 o'clock, and everyone agreed. Lu Ligan found 2 boxes of 2,000 ring electro-optical cannons and told Cao Kuoking, "Come and help." Cao Kuoking asked in confusion, "What do you want to do?" "We put these firecrackers in a string and spread them out on the beach to see how far we can spread them, and then light them up at 12 o'clock, Lu Ligan said. Cao Kuoking was overjoyed. 2 people carried firecrackers and lined them up while walking towards the other end of the beach. The strings of firecrackers were connected end to end and their fuses were twisted together by hand. When they finished setting off the last string, they had walk out a few hundred meters. Meng Ping took Wu Zai and carried a battery lamp to find firewood. After finding it, he prepared to light a bonfire far away from the pile of fireworks. As soon as Li Yong and Huo arrived here, they started competing. Each of them took a box of double-click cannons and walked to the beach. They were both very good at it. They held the double-click cannons in their hands, lit them with cigarettes, and waited for the first sound of. After the bang sound, he threw it out. The second sound happened just when it was about to fall into the sea, and an electric fireball exploded on the sea. There was also a sound when it fell into the water, and a splash of water exploded with a dull sound. 2 people are competing to see who can finish a box of double-shot cannons first. When Meng Ping and Wu Zai lit the bonfire, the girls were also tired from running on the beach. They needed to sit by the fire and take a rest. After a while, Lu Ligan and Cao Kuoking also came back. They completed their huge project. Finally, Li Yong and the second artillery came back. Meng Ping asked them how the battle was going. Li Yong said, "This guy is awesome and he doesn't want his life." "Yes, you can shoot left and right." "What's this?" "We used to blow up fish directly with detonators and explosives." "Some people blew up their own fingers," the second-hand guy said. "You came down from Liangshan, right?" Meng Ping asked. "No, our place is Tongbei Mountain," Huo said, and the others laughed. The fool didn't know why they were laughing, but he laughed too. When they finished laughing, the fool asked them, "You know what we did with this when we were kids?" "What are you doing?" "Do you want to eat?" Qian Fang asked. "No," Huo said, "in our hometown, where we are forced to raise children, the toilets are all built on top of the cesspool. It is just a piece of wood. People sit on the wood to defecate. When we see someone sitting there, we sneak over there. Behind that person, just like that, there was a bang, and the person who was going to the toilet was shocked and froze there, and the second time he threw it into the pit, haha, it exploded and his butt was covered with feces." Everyone couldn't help laughing. Qian Fang cursed, "It's so wicked." "Yes, we were so wicked when we were children. Let me tell you, those who were forced to raise them, and those who were so frightened that they fell into the manure pit and almost drowned at the first blow. The brigade commander investigated this for several days, and the basic militiamen, they also searched for firecrackers from house to house." "Didn't they arrest you, a Category 4 element?" Li Yong asked. "We won't put firecrackers at home." "Where can we catch them?" the second-hand man said proudly. Ya Yulan saw that it was still early before 12 o'clock, so she suggested, "Shall we sing together?" As soon as she sang, Lu Yun and Li Yong looked at Lu Ligan with a smile, and Li Yong shouted. The pole has reached the beach and can be stretched. Lu Ligan jumped up from the ground and performed his hey 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 along the beach. Li Yong and Lu Yun sang together, and everyone burst into laughter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 386. Two lights shot down from the slope, and then two cars appeared. 7 or 8 men and women got out of the cars. They saw someone with a bonfire here, so they came over. When they passed the remaining pile of fireworks, a girl shouted softly, "Wow, fireworks. Take whatever you want and let's play together," the second-rate guy called. Really? Someone asked. Of course, you're welcome, Huo said. Those people really grabbed a handful of sky monkeys and shot them into the sky while walking this way. When they got closer, the two people in the group and Lu Ligan all laughed. It turned out that they knew each other. One of the two people was from Hainan Daily and the other was from Hainan TV station. Others are their colleagues. Someone saw the volley of cannons lined up behind them and the electro-optical cannons that extended into the dark depths with no end in sight, and asked Lu Ligan what they were. Lu Ligan said with a smile, "That's a sky full of stars, and this is a rolling dragon. Let's wait until 12 o'clock. They were very interested and wanted to wait. The two groups gathered around the bonfire and quickly became one. It's almost 12 o'clock. Far away in the city, impatient people have lit up fireworks and firecrackers. The banging sound can be heard in the distance. Here, on the beach, Cao Kuoking is standing on that strip. In front of the electro-optical cannon, other men stood in front of the row of cannons, waiting for Lu Ligan's order. Lu Ligan watched the second hand of his watch ticking away, and his heart was pounding. When it came to the last 10 seconds, he began to count down loudly. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, point. The row of cannons rang out almost at the same time. Sparks flew above their heads and exploded into bright flowers. Cao Kuoking lit the electric cannon. The electric cannon crackled while on the beach. It was twisting and tossing around, really like a rolling dragon. The sounds of the electro-optical cannon and the continuous cannon were deafening. Cao Ziahe quickly covered Yuan Yuan's ears with both hands. Yuan Yuan smiled happily and kept twisting her body, trying to get rid of her mother's hands. While the fireworks and firecrackers were going off here, half of the sky in Haikan was also lit up by fireworks and firecrackers. The streets above Lu Ligan and the others, where they thought the crowd had disappeared, were now dazzling. But they felt that their beach was the liveliest, most densely populated and beautiful place with fireworks. More than a dozen people were dancing and laughing on the beach, shouting Happy New Year so loudly that they almost broke their throats. Some people shed tears without knowing it. At 12 o'clock, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao, together with the few dozen people in the waiting room, all ran to the gate. They also looked up at the sky. Countless fireworks jumped from every corner of the city. The sky, above the city, opens up a beautiful long axis intertwined with colorful lights. Xiao Zhao nestled in Zhang Chen's arms, and Zhang Chen couldn't help but kiss her. Xiao Zhao also turned around, stood on tiptoes, and kissed Zhang Chen in turn. Happy New Year, my dear. Xiao Zhao whispered in Zhang Chen's ear like a dream, and Zhang Chen hugged her tightly. When they arrived at Guangzhou railway station in the afternoon, the square in front of the station was already empty. So many people were sucked into every capillary of the land by the trains, lighting up everything from the city to the depths of the mountains. Bright lights. At this time, if you look down from the high altitude of this land, you will definitely see more joy than sadness, and more reunion than separation. Of course, People like Zhang Chen and others who are stranded at a station in a foreign land will be a minority, but even these few people also have their hopes and happiness. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao are very happy, although they have been alone from noon to now. After eating 2 bowls of instant noodles, they still felt hungry and sleepy, but their hearts were filled with happiness. This city is someone else's city, and the station is someone else's station, but these fireworks fall into their eyes, that is, their fireworks, and their happiness is secret and exclusive to them. The two of them walked back to the waiting room. After sitting down, Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen, "What do you think the Poles and the others are doing now?" Zhang Chen thought for a while and said that he should be with Meng Ping, Lu Yun, and Li Yong now. Many of them are together. Real. Of course, Zhang Chen continued to think, and he said, "I guess they should have had New Year's Eve dinner together." The location was either in Ganz's office or Meng Ping's office. No, they were in Meng Ping's office. Why? There are 4 women there in Meng Ping. They know how to organize things. Aren't there Wei Wenfang and Chen Ji at that pole? Chen Ji has a family, so of course he will have the New Year's Eve dinner at home. Wei Wenfang is not very good at doing these things. They must be at Meng Ping's place. Haha, those 4 women must have been busy with this all day long. I do not believe. Zhang Chen looked around and saw a row of magnetic card telephones in the corner of the waiting room. Zhang Chen said, "Then let's call and ask." Xiao Zhao said yes. The two of them got up, went to the canteen in the waiting room, bought a magnetic phone card, walked to the magnetic card phone, and dialed Lu Ligan's mobile number. The first call was a busy signal, but no call was made. Zhang Chen thought of Lu Ligan last year. Did the same thing happen again when I dialed Tan Shahen's phone number? When I dialed for the second time, there was a beeping sound on the phone. As soon as the phone call came through, Lu Ligan shouted, "Zhang Chen, we are setting off fireworks at the holiday beach." Zhang Chen asked curiously, "How did you know it was me?" "Of course, telepathy." Lu Ligan laughed and said, "There are many of us, including Lu Yun, Meng Ping, Li Yong, Qian Fang, Su Jiaking, Ye Yulan, Cao Ziahe, Wu Zia. You have me, instructor." The second guy heard Lu Ligan and Zhang Chen talking on the phone, and quickly grabbed the phone. Someone came to grab his phone again. The second guy shouted, "You are forced to raise it, don't grab it, don't grab it, I haven't asked sister-in-law yet. Sister-in-law, are you here?" Xiao Zhao quickly said, "I'm here. I wish you a happy new year." Lu Ligan's phone calls were passed on one by one. Everyone asked how well Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were. When the phone came back to Lu Ligan said, "Zhang Chen, where are you now?" Zhang Chen said, "We ate in a hotel and ordered a lot of dishes. We ate for several hours. There were many people here. We were sitting by the window. Just now we were watching the fireworks outside. The sky in Guangzhou was lit up." "Yes, very beautiful," Xiao Zhao shouted from the side. "Wait a minute, Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao, listen, there are many friends you don't know," Lu Ligan shouted. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were waiting. They didn't know why Lu Ligan asked them to wait. Zhang Chen held the microphone tightly in his hand, their faces were close to each other, and their ears were close to the microphone. Many people on the microphone shouted together, "Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao, Happy New Year." Xiao Zhao giggled, tears welled up in her eyes. Zhang Chen gently wiped them away for her. He felt that he heard the sound of the waves on the holiday beach from their voices. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao realized that they had forgotten to ask Lu Ligan and the others where they had the New Year's Eve dinner. "Anyway, we didn't eat as well as we did." Xiao Zhao waved his right hand in front of his face. "We are in such a big restaurant." When they arrived in Hangzhou, it was already past 10 o'clock on the night of the second day of the Lunar New Year. The two of them walked out of the exit of the Chengjian railway station and were froze by the biting cold in Hangzhou. Zhang Chen looked around, almost not believing his eyes. Is this the Hangzhou he is familiar with? Why does it feel like the sky is so low and the city is so dark and dilapidated? It's a completely different world from the bright appearance of Haikan. Is this the Hangzhou that when I was in Yongcheng, I felt like I had fulfilled my dream every time I came there? It feels many years behind Haikan, as backward as the old society. The two people wrapped their military coats tightly and walked through the empty city station square. The light was too dim. Zhang Chen accidentally stepped into a puddle, and the cold water poured into his shoes before he started walking again. Come on and make a gurgling sound. The two people walked into Qingtai Street in front of the Chengjian Square and asked about two hotels. They both said that they were full, probably all of them were people who had not bought tickets. They continued walking forward and reached Yashengguan Road. They saw a red flag hotel with a very small facade. The two people walked in. The light in the room closest to the door was on and the window was open. Inside the window was desk. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 387. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao walked to the service desk, where sat a waitress in her 30s, holding a hot water bottle on her chest. Seeing someone coming, she looked up at them. Zhang Chen asked her if she had any room left. The waiter swung his chin to the right and told them that there was only one full store. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao looked to the left and saw that in the long corridor, against one wall, there were steel wire beds, taking up 2/3 of the corridor. There were people lying on the wire beds. This is she said it all. Xiao Zhao took off the scarf covering his head and told the waiter that the two of us couldn't sleep in the same bed. The waiter rolled his eyes at her. I won't let you sleep if you want to. Do you have a letter of introduction and marriage certificate? Zhang Chen almost laughed. He was sleeping in the corridor and he still needed a marriage certificate? Xiao Zhao begged, Sister, can you help us think of a way? We just got off the train. The waiter looked at Xiao Zhao's face and asked, What happened to your face? Did he hit it? No, no. Xiao Zhao quickly shook his head. I accidentally fell down the stairs. The waiter looked them up and down suspiciously, and finally confirmed that Xiao Zhao was not lying. From the way the two of them were so intimate, it was not obvious that he was beaten by this man. The waiter thought for a moment, put the hot water bottle on the table in front of her, pointed to a bed behind her, and said to them. In this case, the man will sleep on the empty bed at the end, and the woman will come in and sleep with me. It costs 12 yuan a person. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao, please quickly say thank you. Zhang Chen's bed is at the end of the corridor, and beyond that is the bathroom and public toilet that are connected together. There is a men's toilet outside and a women's toilet inside. Xiao Zhao took out his wallet from the bag Zhang Chen was carrying. After thinking for a moment, he simply took the entire bag and whispered into his ear, It's not safe for you to carry it with you. Zhang Chen nodded, and Xiao Zhao went back to the waiter's duty room. After a while, she came over with a wash basin in one hand and a hot water bottle in the other. There was a towel on her shoulder, and there was something in the wash basin. Toothpaste and toothbrush. Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, Let's go and wash our faces. The two of them went to the bathroom. After brushing their teeth and washing their faces, Xiao Zhao and Zhang Chen said, There is still hot water in the thermos bottle. You can soak your feet. Xiao Zhao took some water from the basin and brought it back. She saw that no one was outside, kissed Zhang Chen on the face, and told him, I'm leaving. Zhang Chen smelled the cool fragrance on her body and really wanted to hug her, but Xiao Zhao smiled and ran away. Zhang Chen walked back to his bed, bent down, and found a white enamel wash basin from under the bed. The words Red Flag Hotel were written on the wash basin in red paint. Zhang Chen took the wash basin and went to the bathroom to get water. He came back and sat on the bed, pouring half of the hot water in the thermos into the wash basin. The water was so hot that his left foot was frozen due to the water in his shoe. Soaked in hot water, itching for a while, it took a while to get used to it. After soaking his feet, Jiang Chen felt much more comfortable. He placed the hot water bottle at the head of the bed against the wall. He didn't bother to pour the foot washing water. He pushed the basin under the bed with his feet. He didn't wipe his feet with a cloth, but just put it under his pants. Dry your feet. He took a look and saw that the person on the bed next to him was sleeping with his feet pointed towards him. If he wanted to sleep without his head facing the toilet, he would have to sleep behind that guy's feet. Jiang Chen thought about it and decided it's better to sleep with the toilet on your head. He put his military coat on the quilt and got under the quilt. There was a strong smell of cigarette smoke in the quilt. When he fell down, there was an unpleasant smell of clam oil and scalp oil on the pillow. Jiang Chen dropped the pillow. After an interview, the result was the same. He simply folded the military coat that he had covered with the quilt and put it under his head as a pillow, so that he felt more comfortable. But the quilt on my body seemed thin. In the toilet above the head, the urinal area is a tiled sink. A water pipe is installed above the sink. A row of small holes are drilled in the pipe, and water is dripping into the toilet tank below. At first glance, upon hearing this, I thought it was raining outside. The defecation area is also a tiled sink, but there are small compartments separated by partitions above the sink. Someone squats down to defecate, and the feces accumulates at the bottom of the sink, and waves of stench waft out from it. In the partition at the top, there is an iron water tank installed on the wall 2 meters above the ground. In order to save water, the faucet on the water tank is turned to the minimum, dripping into the water tank like a hanging needle. It will take more than an hour to drip water to fill the water tank. After it is full, the water tank will make a loud squeaking sound, and the water in the tank will spurt out from the water pipe, flushing the entire sink. Only then will the smell go away, and the water tank will start dripping again. Water is stored drop by drop. Jiang Chen would be startled every time there was a wow sound. He lay there, staring blankly at the ceiling above his head. The bathroom connected to the toilet had no door, and the light inside fell down like a picture frame, which just happened to frame Jiang Chen in the bright light. If anyone passes by at this time and sees a person lying there motionless with his eyes wide open, he will probably be startled. Jiang Chen was very sleepy and tired, but he was not sleepy at all. He was going back to Yongcheng tomorrow, but he suddenly felt scared. He traveled from Haikan to Zhanjiang, from Zhanjiang to Guangzhou, and from Guangzhou to Hangcheng. Going all the way north, he seemed to have no hesitation in going home, but when he arrived in Hangzhou, lying in this small hotel, he suddenly felt scared. Maybe it's not fear, but timidity. Jiang Chen feels that there is a difference between fear and timidity. Fear means feeling that danger is coming, while timidity means not knowing what's going on in your heart. Jiang Chen felt that this kind of fear or timidity, and even a little bit of shyness, was in it. Which timidness is more timid when it comes to nostalgia? Jiang Chen thinks both. He felt that the shyness and timidity of being close to hometown and the heroism of returning home in fine clothes were exactly two extremes. To put it this way, it was vanity again. Yes, if you live well outside and have an 8-carriage sedan to carry you back to your hometown, you will be even more timid when approaching your hometown. Those who are timid are those who are shy to meet others. Jiang Chen sighed. He felt that now he was too shy to meet people and felt very shameless. When he went back and met acquaintances, he didn't know what to say or how to face their questioning eyes. He knew that he was now a celebrity in the Yongcheng cultural system, the kind of celebrity who lived well outside. He used to look down on him, but now he feels ashamed of himself. Jiang Chen had received a few calls in Haikan, and they were all people with whom he had not had a good relationship before. It was called by someone who is close to him but not very familiar with him. From the phone call, He could tell that the other person was trying his best to please him and almost said that he wanted to join you. This made Zhang Chen feel a little carried away unconsciously. What should I do when I meet these people when I go back? There is also a very practical question, that is, what can I do when I return to Yongcheng? He didn't know if the troop could go back. He never asked Feng Logui. Even if Xiao Wu went back, he didn't ask them for it, because in Xiao Wu's view, it was just a joke and there was no need to ask. He with Lu Ligan, it has long been impossible to return to the troop. If he returned to Yongcheng and asked himself to nod and bow to Ding Begu or even Feng Logui in order to return to the troop, then he would never be able to do it. Or he would go to an advertising company to do odd jobs and stand on the scaffolding to draw advertisements every day. Zhang Chen was not willing to do that. He felt that if he stood on the scaffolding to draw advertisements now, the people watching below would not be looking at his paintings. Painting, but pointing and talking about him. Apart from these two, what else can I do when I return to Yongcheng? Zhang Chen has never told his family that he is going back to Yongcheng. His family must still think that he is still working as his general manager and cannot return home because he is too busy. They saw him come back suddenly and with him. It was not Jin Lily who came back, but another woman. The family would definitely feel that something big had happened, and they would be annoyed to death by asking questions. He even vaguely felt that Jin Lily must not have told her mother the news that they had broken up. If so, Jin Lily's mother would definitely run to their house and ask questions about this and that, which would be annoying to death. Zhang Chen thought about it all night without thinking clearly. When people started to get up in the corridor, Zhang Chen made up his mind. He decided not to go back to Yongcheng first, but to see if there were any opportunities in Hangzhou. But now everyone is on vacation, and even if you want to find a job, there is no place to look for it. Zhang Chen's heart skipped a beat and he cursed secretly, ignore him, let's spend a few days in Hangzhou first. Anyway, I still have money in my pocket. It's still early for that remittance note to arrive in Yongcheng. It might not be there yet. Leave Guangzhou. Zhang Chen turned his back to the corridor outside, and fell asleep. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 388. Zhang Chen was woken up by Xiao Zhao's cold hands. He woke up and saw Xiao Zhao sitting by the bed, touching his face with his hand. Seeing him open his eyes, Xiao Zhao asked, "Did you sleep well here?" "Okay," Zhang Chen said with a smile, "you haven't seen how soundly I slept until now. How about you?" "Yes," Xiao Zhao nodded, "that sister is very good to me." Xiao Zhao picked up the wash basin on the floor and said to Zhang Chen, "I'm going to wash my face first, and you get up." Zhang Chen said yes. Xiao Zhao went to the bathroom, and Zhang Chen climbed out of bed, picked up the pants that were placed on the bed and put them on. He also took out the socks from under the sheets at the end of the bed that were laid out before going to bed, and found that they had been covered. After doing it, I couldn't help but feel happy. He sat on the bed, put his right shoe on, then picked up his left shoe from the ground and touched it. It was still wet inside, and his hands were cold when he put his hand in it. Zhang Chen looked to the side and found that the bed next to him was empty. There was a newspaper thrown on the pillow, so he took the newspaper, tore half of it, put it into his shoe, tried it with his hands, and found that if it's a little damp, just put the whole newspaper into the shoes, flatten it with your hands, and then put your feet in. The newspaper will sting your feet a bit, but it's more comfortable than putting it directly into wet shoes. Zhang Chen took out the basin of foot washing water that had not been poured out last night from under the bed, and took it to the bathroom to pour it out. Xiao Zhao had already washed his face and handed him a towel and a toothbrush filled with toothpaste. Zhang Chen put the towel on his shoulders, and Xiao Zhao took it over again and said, "Wet, I'll hold it for you." Zhang Chen was brushing his teeth, and Xiao Zhao stood beside him and asked him, "Where should we buy tickets and take the bus later?" Jiang Chen was foaming at the mouth, shook his head, and cooed twice more. Xiao Zhaokai said, "You don't know, then I'll ask that sister." Jiang Chen quickly shook his head again and reached out to hold Xiao Zhao. He bent his head and took a mouthful of water. The water flowed down his neck and into his collar, giving him a chill. He spat out the water, rinsed the toothbrush under the faucet, handed it to Xiao Zhao, took the towel from her hand, and then said, "We are not going back to Yongcheng today." Ah, Xiao Zhao was surprised. It's already the third day of the Lunar New Year. There's nothing to do when I go back. I just sit around the brazier eating melon seeds and peanuts all day long, watching crappy TV, and paying New Year's greetings. It's so troublesome, Jiang Chen said. You have never been to Hangzhou City? Xiao Zhao shook his head. Then we will spend a few days in Hangzhou. There is paradise above and Suzhou and Hangzhou below. There are still many interesting places in Hangzhou. Okay, then I'm going to the West Lake. Xiao Zhao stretched out his hand to compare his thighs, and said to Jiang Chen, "I've wanted to come to the West Lake since I was a little old." "Okay, let's go buy clothes first, and then go to West Lake," Jiang Chen said. "Buying clothes?" "That's right. It's Chinese New Year. Do you want to go to West Lake dressed like this?" Xiao Zhao looked at Jiang Chen and himself. Indeed, wearing this military coat on the train didn't mean anything, but in the city, especially when going to the West Lake, it was really ugly. Xiao Zhao smiled happily and said, "Okay, it's Chinese New Year and I have new clothes to wear." The two of them washed their faces and walked to the waiter's duty room together. Xiao Zhao introduced the elder sister from last night and told Jiang Chen that this was Sister Gihua. Jiang Chen called her Sister Gihua. Sister Gihua asked Jiang Chen, "Are you leaving today? If not, I will help you change the bed. The one at the top is noisy, right?" Jiang Chen quickly said, "Thank you, we are not leaving." "Xiao Zhao, you'd better sleep with me. Girls sleep on the corridor. It's not good." "I also have a companion with my sister," Sister Gihua continued, and Xiao Zhao said yes. Jiang Chen asked Sister Gihua, "Where can I buy clothes now?" Sister Gihua told them that originally, they had just taken a break here and passed the Qingtai overpass to Sijiking. They had all kinds of clothes there and they were cheap. But now, during the Chinese New Year, they are all closed, and they won't open until after the 8th day of the Lunar New Year. Hangcheng Building and Ziba are still open. You can go there and have a look from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day. Jiang Chen said yes, and Xiao Zhao asked Sister Gihua, how to get there from here. Jiang Chen quickly said, I know, thank you Sister Gihua." The two people turned to go out, but Sister Gihua stopped them again and told them that the bathroom upstairs had hot water from 7 to 9 p.m. If you want to take a bath, come back early. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao quickly agreed. They turned right when they left the door and walked along Yusheniguan Road until they reached Jifang Road. Jiang Chen and Xiao Zhao said, "Let's keep walking along this road. At the end, we will see Jifang Road department store, and at the end there will be a park." Arrived at West Lake. Jiang Chen is very familiar with this area. Next to Jibei is Xinhua bookstore on Jifang Road. Hangzhou is also the largest Xinhua bookstore in Zhejiang. Diagonally opposite Jibei, on the corner of Jifang Road and Hubin Road, there is Xiling Seal Society in the sales department. In addition to selling picture albums, copy books, and calligraphy and painting materials, what attracted Jiang Chen most was that the walls around the entire store were covered with many calligraphy and paintings. Most of these calligraphy and paintings are the works of members of the Xiling Seal Society or teachers of the Zhejiang Academy of Fine Arts. They range from the works of the older generation Pan Tianxiao, Lu Yanxiao, Yu Renchen, Shamengai, Zhu Hanzhu, etc., to the works of the younger generation. There are some famous artists like Lu Yifei, Wu Shanming, Xu Chuangzai, Cheng Shifa, etc., and occasionally some oil paintings. Zhang Chen has seen the works of Zhou Kangmai, Mo Dalan, and Pan Honghai here. The prices of all these works range from tens to hundreds of yuan. Zhang Chen cannot afford them, but he likes to look at them. This place and Xinhua bookstore are Zhang Chen's must-visit places every time he comes to Hangzhou. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao held hands and walked through Zhonghe Road and then the Federation of Trade Unions building. They unexpectedly found that Koiwan Hall was still open. Zhang Chen quickly took Xiao Zhao inside and bought some at the counter at the entrance. I ordered 2 bowls of noodles. In the huge shop of Koiwan Hall, including them, there were only 5 or 6 people eating noodles. Although the attitude of the waiters in these state-owned shops was very bad, everyone looked like they owed him more and paid him back less, especially in the first month of the year. State-owned stores are different from individual stores. They must not only focus on economic benefits, but also focus on social benefits. On these days when business is slow, we must keep the door open for the sake of social benefits. Is it delicious? Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao. Xiao Zhao said it was delicious, and it would be even better if it was spicy. Zhang Chen laughed. He told Xiao Zhao that people in Hangzhou don't eat spicy food. However, when he looked around, he saw a jar of hot sauce on a few tables. The hot sauce was mushy. The chili sauce noodles were not spicy, but very salty. Xiao Zhao added a big spoonful and tasted it and felt it was not enough. He added another big spoonful but it was still not enough, so he tried it again. It was Zhang Chen's turn, and the two of them had almost finished pouring a jar of hot sauce. The waiter was standing against the wall 5 or 6 meters away from them, glaring at them, but Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao didn't care about her. The waiter finally couldn't hold it any longer and came over. Zhang Chen thought she was going to talk to them, but he didn't expect that she took the hot sauce jar away from the table and walked into the kitchen. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "You scared her." Xiao Zhao shook his head and said, "It wasn't me, it was you. She came here only after you fell." "Okay, it's me," Zhang Chen scolded, "you're so damn stingy. In such a big store, you won't even eat some hot sauce and even take away all the jars." What they didn't expect was that the waiter came out of the back kitchen with the hot sauce jar, walked up to them, slammed the hot sauce jar on their table, and the hot sauce inside splashed out, and then walked back to the original place. Continue to stand against the wall and look at them. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao took a look and saw that the jar was already filled with hot sauce. They looked back at the waiter and couldn't help laughing. Zhang Chen whispered, "Add more, you can add more to see how much you can eat hot." Xiao Zhao shook his head, "It's too salty, otherwise I could have added a whole can." After eating the noodles, the two of them walked to the door of the Hongdeli watch store. Zhang Chen shouted, wait a minute," Xiao Zhao stopped and looked at Zhang Chen, wondering what he was going to do. Zhang Chen leaned against the plane tree on the sidewalk, took off his left shoe, bent down, took out the wet newspaper, and threw it into the trash can next to the plane tree. Xiao Zhao kept looking at him with her eyes wide open. When she saw him pulling out a bunch of newspapers from his shoes, she bent over with laughter. She looked around. Fortunately, there was no one around. Xiao Zhao cursed. "Idiot, why didn't you tell me earlier when your shoes got wet? There is a brazier in Sister Gihua's duty room. I left it beside the brazier all night. It will be dry now." "Idiot, Sister Gihua has a brazier there, why didn't you tell me earlier? I didn't know your shoes were wet. I didn't know she had a brazier there." The two of them were joking and bickering as they walked. The department store on Jifang Road in Hangzhou was right opposite them. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 389. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao walked to the door of Zhengqiao Hotel, which was one of the best hotels in Hangzhou at that time. Zhang Chen remembered that he used to come to Xinhua bookstore. He stood at the door of Xingqiao Hotel on sunny or rainy days. The porch, looking through the glass at the magnificent lobby inside, felt like heaven. There were 2 doormen standing at the door, and I didn't even have the courage to walk in. But when Zhang Chen looked at it again today, he felt that the lobby of the Xingqiao Hotel was far from the lobby of the Wanghai International Hotel that he designed. Zhang Chen was a little proud, but also a little sad. A person who designed such a beautiful hotel lobby now has to sleep in the corridor of the Red Flag Hotel at night, with a smelly public toilet on his head. Isn't it funny? They crossed Jifang Road from the entrance of Xingqiao Hotel to the Jifang Road department store opposite. There is also a Jifang Road in Haikan. There is also a department store on Jifang Road, also called Jifang Road Department Store. Jibei in Hangzhou is better than Haikan. There are many shopping malls in the city, but compared with Wanghai Mall, it is not only small, but also old. There are no elevators in the entire mall, not to mention escalators. The department store was deserted, which was very different from when Zhang Chen came here before. This was probably because of social benefits. They walked from the stairs to the second floor. Zhang Chen saw at a glance a long row of women's clothing counters with a yellow down jacket hanging on them. 3 female salespersons inside the counter were huddled together chatting about Tangier walked back and forth, turning around every 3 steps, waving after every 5 steps, and then kept walking. This is the tango invented by Zhao Lirong in the sketch Moms Today performed by Zhao Lirong and Gong Hanlin in the Spring Festival Gala. Where are the dimples? The 3 people laughed and learned at the counter. Master, please show me this dress, Zhang Chen shouted. A salesperson turned to look at Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao. He did not come over, but continued to chat with the other 2. Master, please show me this dress, Zhang Chen increased his voice. The salesperson turned to look at them again, and then walked reluctantly towards this side. As he walked, he asked impatiently, Saxi. Zhang Chen pointed at the down jacket and said to her, please show me this piece of clothing. The salesperson took a fork, took off the down jacket hanging high on the counter, and threw it on the counter. Zhang Chen took it over and asked Xiao Zhao to try it on. Xiao Zhao took off his coat and handed it to Zhang Chen. Then he put the down jacket on his body. He suddenly seemed like a different person. Zhang Chen knew that he had made the right choice. Although the bruise on Xiao Zhao's face has not completely faded, the color of the clothes made her skin fairer and more supple. Even the salesperson at the counter had a pleasant expression on her face and sighed, my hair is beautiful. The other 2 salesmen also came over, looked at Xiao Zhao and said, you girl is very cool and fashionable. Xiao Zhao didn't understand what they were talking about. She looked at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen leaned close to her ear and said, they are saying you are beautiful. Xiao Zhao blushed. They bought this piece of clothing, and Xiao Zhao put it on, folded the military coat, and put it into the bag containing the down jacket. The 2 then went to the men's clothing department and bought a down jacket for Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen also wore it. The 2 of them immediately looked different from when they came in. Holding hands, they looked like a pair of modern lovers, which attracted a lot of attention. Everyone looked back at them. They went to the underwear counter again, and one person bought 2 pairs of underwear and a set of knitted underwear. Xiao Zhao also chose a pair of socks for Zhang Chen, and then made sure to drag Zhang Chen to the shoe counter to buy shoes. Finally, he bought a pair of khaki frosted ones. Xiao Zhao asked him to take off the shoes and socks on his high-top leather shoes and put on new shoes and socks. Zhang Chen felt like he was liberated. When they came out of the department store, the 2 of them were holding hands and holding several bags in the other hand. They walked from the pedestrian overpass on the 2nd floor of Jibei to the Yan'an Road below, walked to the opposite side, got off the overpass and walked forward, crossing the junction of Nanshan Road and Jifang Road, and arrived at a park. Different from the deserted scenery encountered along the way, The edge of the West Lake is full of tourists. The sunshine on the third day of the Lunar New Year was very good, and the bustling crowds crowded the free lakeside area from the Dawa Hotel to the 6th Park. After passing the 6th Park, if you want to go towards the broken bridge, you will not be able to pass. The lakeside the road is completely blocked by the courtyard of the Provincial Party Committee's United Front Work Department. You can't walk from the Dawa Hotel to the Orioles in the Willows. The road is blocked by the dormitory building of the Provincial Military Region. Beyond that is the Orioles in the Willows. You have to buy a ticket to enter. Therefore, the area from the Dawa Hotel to the 6th Park is the most crowded on the edge of the West Lake. Yes, and also near the broken bridge. As soon as he saw the West Lake, Xiao Zhao couldn't help but exclaimed wow softly. When he walked to the lake and looked into the lake, he almost cried. She saw that the water in the West Lake was black and shiny, and the odor evaporated upwards when exposed to the sun. Xiao Zhao said angrily to Zhang Chen, "Why is the water in the West Lake like this? What's wrong? So dirty and smelly. Then what do you think it is?" I always thought it was delicious," Xiao Zhao said anxiously. "When I looked at the picture of West Lake, I thought that the water from West Lake can be drunk by bending down and holding a handful. You can drink it now, and you'll just go to the hospital after drinking it," Zhang Chen said with a smile. You," Xiao Zhao punched Zhang Chen. In an open space in a park, people gathered in a circle and cheered from time to time. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were curious, so they squeezed into the crowd and saw two people playing badminton inside. One of them had a leg. For disabled people with disabilities, everyone's applause is for him. Although he has a disability in his legs, he plays badminton very well. What's even more surprising is that the inconvenience in his legs and feet not only does not affect his performance, but has become his specialty, which is incredible. When many balls came over, the landing point was already very low. Everyone thought he couldn't catch them. His disabled leg took a step forward and couldn't support his body. His body suddenly stumbled and fell to the side. Everyone was confused. When I thought he was going to fall to the ground, I didn't expect that his racket stretched out. He caught the ball almost as it was about to hit the ground and returned it to the net. Everyone couldn't help but applaud. His body was like a tree bent by the wind. After the wind passed by, it stood upright again. Everyone clapped their hands and applauded again. Not only was he good at playing, but he was also very energetic. His opponents kept changing. He came up to fight for a while. When he realized that he was no match for him, he shook his head and retreated. The second person took over the racket and continued to play, but he was still defeated. Some unconvinced tourists volunteer to join the battle, and he refuses anyone who comes, and in the end he always makes you convinced that you have lost. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao crowded in the crowd and watched for a while, their hands turned red. They exited and walked toward the 6th Park. After walking for more than 10 meters, they saw another crowd. This crowd was bigger than the previous one, but there were not so many onlookers. Many men and women were dancing ballroom dance, both young and middle-aged people. Yes, the most eye-catching one is a man in his 50s. He was wearing a tuxedo, a white shirt underneath, and a bow tie. His hair was meticulously combed and waxed. His back was straight and he walked briskly through the crowd, constantly correcting others' dance moves or teaching them tirelessly. He demonstrated over and over again. Some people in the crowd called him Teacher Chu, while others called him Akwa Akwa. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao sat on the flower bed nearby and watched for a while. It was already past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Their stomachs were growling, so they walked to a small shop made of wood and bought 2 bowls of West Lake lotus root noodles. The store owner brought a hot water bottle and added water to them, asking them to stir it constantly with a spoon. The white lotus root powder melted in the boiling water. The more it was stirred, the thicker it became. It started out white, and when it became translucent, it was ready to eat. Xiao Zhao tasted a spoonful and felt the fragrance of lotus root and the sweetness of stuffed osman thus. He kept shouting that it was delicious. The two of them finished eating the lotus root starch while standing, and one of them bought 2 more tea eggs. After finishing the meal, they wiped their hands and felt that their stomachs were full. They continued walking forward, and when they arrived at the cruise ship dock, someone greeted them, Ruan Gongdun Xiaoying Zhou Pavilion in the middle of the lake, go see the 3 pools reflecting the moon. Zhang Chen almost laughed when he heard this. What the hell is the sun reflecting on the 3 pools reflecting the moon? He was just looking around the 3 stone towers. Despite this thought, he still took Xiao Zhao towards the dock. Among all the pictures of the West Lake, the most representative and attractive one should be the 3 pools reflecting the moon. When you arrive at the West Lake, if you don't take a boat to see the 3 stone towers, it seems that you have never been to the West Lake. Although many people have dreams after seeing it. It's broken, but you still have to look at it. What's more, whether it is Ruan Gongdun, Xiaoyingzhou, or Huixin Pavilion, they are all beautiful and worth a visit. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 390. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao walked around the West Lake. When they returned to the cruise pier, it was almost 5 o'clock, and the sun had already set in the west. The winter sunset was weak, and the wind blew on their faces, no longer warm, but it's a bit cold to shave. The bustling crowd also dissipated, and both Aqua and the disabled hero also went home at this time. The two of them walked back. When they passed Jibai, they saw that Jibai was closed. When they passed Kuiyuan Pavilion was also closed. Before the 6th day of the first lunar month, all state-owned stores that pay attention to social benefits would only open their business hours until 3 p.m., not only because there were no customers, but also because each unit could not have so many people working overtime during the Spring Festival. Line staff. They also have to celebrate the New Year and visit relatives and friends to pay New Year greetings. When they reached Yashengguan Road, Zhang Chen thought it was over. All the shops along the way were closed. Even the small shops in the alleys had their doors raised. It seemed that he and Xiao Zhao had no money for their dinner. Zhang Chen thought to himself that the only ones open now, besides big foreign-related hotels like Xingqiao Hotel, might also be the canteens in the wooden houses by the West Lake. After all, after dinner, there will be a crowd by the West Lake. Peak, and these canteens are all contracted, so there is operating pressure. The money in his wallet is getting less and less, and the other money is still on the way. He doesn't know when he will arrive in Yongcheng. He doesn't dare to go to a big hotel for a good meal, and Xiao Zhao won't agree to it. They have to be prudent. They have no relatives in Hangzhou, but they can't afford to be so embarrassed that they can't even afford a ticket back to Yongcheng or stay in the Red Flag Hotel. Zhang Chen remembered that when he was in Guangzhou, he planned to go all the way to Yongcheng. When he got home, 5,000 yuan was more than enough to keep with him. He didn't expect to stop in Hangzhou. Once he stopped, he was not ready to leave. Knowing this, you should save more. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao said that either we go back to the West Lake to buy something to eat, otherwise there will be no place to have dinner. Almost half of Xiao Zhao's body was hanging on Zhang Chen's body, and he said coquettishly, darling, I can't walk anymore, I'm exhausted. Zhang Chen said, then you go back to the hotel and I go back to buy it? No, honey, you can't leave me alone. What should we do? If you don't want to eat, just go back and drink more water, lie on the bed and don't move too much. Zhang Chen couldn't help but laugh. Can you get over it? Yeah, I was hungry a lot when I was a kid, Xiao Zhao said. She looked at Zhang Chen, her eyes flashing. You've been walking for a whole day wearing new shoes, and your feet don't hurt. Zhang Chen didn't feel it at first, but Xiao Zaiyi said that he really felt pain in his feet. He felt that his heels had been worn out. I'm going to die. If you don't say it doesn't hurt, it will hurt as soon as you say it. Really? Then let's go back quickly and just lie on the bed. The two of them returned to the Red Flag Hotel and walked to the waiter's duty room. Inside, there was a waitress sitting knitting a sweater. She was about the same age as Sister Gihua, but not Sister Gihua. She raised her head and looked at Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao with some confusion, as if wondering, why did these two young people come here? Xiao Zhao asked her, Sister, is Sister Gihua not here? No, she won't come until 9 o'clock. After saying that, she realized something and asked Xiao Zhao tentatively, are you the girl who lives here? Xiao Zhao nodded, and the waiter said, come in then. She pointed to the first bed in the corridor near the door and said to Zhang Chen, you are that bed. Zhang Chen was overjoyed and quickly said thank you. He really felt as if he had found a treasure. This bed was at the door of the duty room. The straight line distance from the bed in the duty room was only 3 or 4 meters. He and Xiao Zhao could even lie on the bed and chat. It felt like it's like living in a room. Xiao Zhao was also very happy. She folded the quilt on Zhang Chen's bed into a quilt and placed it at the head of the bed. She pushed Zhang Chen to sit down on the bed and said to him, take off your shoes quickly. She squatted down. He took off Zhang Chen's shoes, touched Zhang Chen's feet and asked, does it still hurt? Zhang Chen shook his head. When Xiao Zhao looked up and saw the waiter in the duty room, he stopped knitting and looked at them. Xiao Zhao couldn't help but feel a little hot and quickly explained to her that he bought new shoes today and walked for a day. Worn out. The waiter smiled, said nothing, and continued knitting his sweater. Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen to sit on the bed with her back against the quilt. She took out her coat from the bag on the ground and put it on Zhang Chen. She also took out her own coat and put it on Zhang Chen. Then he carried other bags, walked to the door of the duty room, and said to the waiter, Sister, do you put my things in there? The waiter shook his head towards the room, meaning you can let it go. Xiao Zhao put those things away, took off her shoes, sat on the other end of the bed, opened the military coat, and covered her legs, so that the lower bodies of her and Zhang Chen were under the military coat. Under. Zhang Chen couldn't help but put his feet into Xiao Zhao's crotch. Xiao Zhao blushed, but tightened his legs to clamp his feet. The two of them just sat there facing each other, chatting. People were coming and going in the corridor next to them. Xiao Zhao was so beautiful. When these people passed by, they couldn't help but look at her more. The people living in the corridor and the rooms on both sides have returned, and the entire first floor seems very lively. In the rooms on the side, people are playing cards and shouting loudly. The waiter stands up from time to time, walks over, and knocks on the door with his hand. A stern warning. Gamble is not allowed. Don't think that the police won't come and arrest you during the Chinese New Year. If you don't want to bet, don't bet, the person inside shouted, just for fun. There were also two people sitting on the bed next to theirs. They spread a newspaper on the bed. On the newspaper was braised large intestine, braised pork head meat and peanuts bought from someone unknown. The two of them were holding to the hotel teacup is drinking. The aroma of braised vegetables, peanuts, and low-quality soju floated over one after another. Zhang Chen knew without looking that they were drinking Qianbei Shao. He was too familiar with the smell of this wine. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao chatted in low voices. After a while, Zhang Chen asked Xiao Zhao, are you hungry? Xiao Zhao shook his head. After a while, Xiao Zhao asked Zhang Chen if he was hungry. Zhang Chen also shook his head and said he wasn't hungry. In fact, they were so hungry that their chests pressed against their backs, especially since the smell of food kept coming, which was so annoying. The waiter put down his knitting work, took a piece of cloth, bent down from the tongs on the brazier, picked up an aluminum lunch box, placed it on the table, opened the lid and ate. Xiao Zhao was sitting facing her, with only Zhang Chen and an open door between them. While she was eating, she asked Xiao Zhao, Aren't you going to have dinner? Xiao Zhao swallowed his saliva and smiled at her. We came back from dinner. The waiter nodded and ate alone, ignoring them. Finally, at 7 o'clock, people in the corridor became active. Many people were holding wash basins and wearing the hotel's wooden slippers, and they were walking around. The waiter told Xiao Zhao that the bathroom upstairs is open. If you want to take a shower, you can go up and do it. Xiao Zhao quickly got out of bed, went to the duty room, and got a wash basin towel and soap. She took off her down jacket and came out wearing a woolen sweater. Zhang Chen also took out the wash basin from under the bed, and Xiao Zhao put on giving him a towel and a piece of soap. Zhang Chen took off his down jacket and shoes, and was about to go upstairs in a woolen sweater. The waiter called, "Bring in his new clothes." Xiao Zhao quickly picked up Zhang Chen's down jacket, and the waiter said, "There are also new shoes, please leave them outside to prevent them from being stolen." Xiao Zhao turned around, picked up Zhang Chen's shoes from the ground, and put them into the duty room. The stairs to the second floor are at a corner past the duty room. The two people went upstairs and felt that the upstairs was different from the downstairs. The grade upstairs was obviously much higher. This hotel is in an old building. The stairs and floors are all made of wood. The stairs to the second floor and the floor on the second floor are painted red. The doors and windows of the rooms upstairs are also red. When you go up to the second floor, at the entrance of the stairs is a small hall with 2 fabric sofas and a coffee table. The bigger difference is that there is no extra bunk in the corridor on the second floor. They walked to the end of the corridor. Here was the bathroom. This place was added later. The floor was no longer made of wood, but made of cement. On both sides of the corridor, there are men's bathrooms on one side and women's bathrooms on the other, with thick cotton curtains hanging on the doors. Xiao Zhao patted Zhang Chen on the shoulder as a farewell. When Zhang Chen turned around, she had already lifted the door curtain and walked in.